Hi, how are you? This is Sandstorm here, and welcome back to Victoria 2. Today we are continuing our game as Germany for part 2 of our series as the German Empire. In last episode, we were able to diplomatically form the North German Federation, and then went on to conquer Austria and the southern German states to form the Greater German Empire. So in today's episode, we are going to continue our expansion, specifically against France and Russia in the beginning. So we're going to justify a war goal on the Russian Empire to free people, which will take 156 days. Hopefully this is enough time for our war exhaustion to go down a little bit, but our jingoism is up pretty high, so we should be able to add plenty of war goals. To make sure we keep getting a steady flow of jingoism, we're going to switch over to the National Party, which is the reactionary party for Germany. And before we unpause, we need to sort out our military a little bit. Our divisions aren't quite set in the stacks I would like of the 30 stacks of 415, so I'm going to merge these up over here, train up a few more units, and start our general mobilization, because it is going to take quite a few troops to take over France and Russia and conquer the territories we want. Alright, I've set all of our professional troops back into 415 stacks to go into places along the front line where there are multiple tiles that they can walk into. I also made sure that there's one in every tile along the French border, which we will reinforce with a second row of mobilized troops. And on the Russian front, we will have filler divisions to fill the entire front, so that it's not just our professional troops in alternating tiles. For now, I'm just waiting for those to get in so we can make them into stacks of 30 and then send them out to the front in the configuration I mentioned. And I think it would also be prudent to expand our naval bases in all the states we can, and to improve our naval doctrine so that we can expand all of our naval bases even further and improve our colonial power. We've just gained our free people casus belli against the Russian Empire, but we're not quite ready to use that because our mobilized troops are still deploying. We're only 32.7% mobilized. So in the meantime, I'm going to enact the Heligoland question, which will gain us a core on Heligoland, which is currently not owned by us. So I believe we should get a little extra revanchism, which will probably bring up our jingoism just enough to what we need. We've completed our major technology, nationalism, and imperialism. I think we're going to go next for the breech-loaded rifles. And then we'll go upgrade our naval doctrine, like I said. Alright, our divisions are in place. We're almost completely mobilized. So I think we're ready to declare war on Russia. Just make sure you put an army down here, because the French, although they don't call Sardinia Piedmont in, they do still have military access to through them, and they usually try and flood in and siege out most of Austrian Italy. So just beware of that, and just place an army here since it is only one province you have to guard. So for now, let's declare war on Russia and do the free people. We're going to liberate the Poland-Lithuanian people in Kiev. Cost 19 war score to demand, but we will be demanding much more than that. We will call in the United Kingdom. Sometimes Sweden adds on some unnecessary things, but you know what, I think we'll call them in as well. So if you do have issues with Sweden trying to demand different territories in the north, you can always not accept them, since at the end of this war I believe we will have #1 prestige in the world, so we shouldn't have issues in not accepting certain war goals. And I think the Swedish should help as a good distraction in the north. So let's proceed to hand Kiev back to Poland, Lithuania. We'll proceed with war. Let's now move our troops in off the front. So on the French border, we're going to use 2 lines of defense. Our good divisions up front, sieging out territory, and our conscript in the back, holding the line in case the French attack, in which case we'll move in and secure the defensive victory. Now as soon as you siege out Krakow, they will try and peace out with you, but don't accept that now, because we are going to annex Krakow once we get enough jingoism. And since we can separate peace them, it isn't too much war score to add on to a peace deal. Throughout this entire war, it's a good idea to be monitoring your jingoism so you can add war goals as quick as possible. Our jingoism is currently growing at a fairly quick rate. We're almost at our first war goal. It seems like the British are going a little jank here, but that shouldn't be an issue. That just ensures that the British won't be able to add too many war goals onto France in the near future. We're still winning on our front, and I believe we are the war leader, so we should be fine with the British getting sieged out for now. We now have enough jingoism to add a war goal, so we will be acquiring the state of French Comte. It's 31 war score. You want to make sure you never go over 100 unless you're doing separate peace deals. But since this is the separate peace deal, you want to make sure this stays under 100. So currently we are at 31. We can add a few more provinces on before we have to stop, because the AI will never accept anything over 100 war score necessary. We just researched the breech-loaded rifles, so we're going to go with our Navy doctrine. We're being offered an alliance from Iceland. I'm not sure why, but I think we will take it. Don't think they're at war with anybody, but I guess we will ally with Iceland. I think all of our alliances are going to break when we go over the infamy cap anyway, so you don't have to worry too much about that. At this point, I think the French army is broken because I don't see any more troops being deployed. So I think it's just time to siege out their whole nation and get full war score on them. And we can watch their great power score go down. They're already at number 4 now. And they might drop below Spain if this keeps up. Russia is definitely going to drop out of great power if we can get them below the Ottomans. Our election just finished and the Conservative Party got put in power. This might help our jingoism. Let's see, it's gone down a little bit. It seems to be going up. I think it might help to keep on the Conservative Party for right now. And if we have some issues again, we'll demobilize and switch back to Nationalist Party. jingoism support seems to be stalling. I'm going to switch us back to the National Party. And as soon as we can, we'll demobilize. I think if we take a reform, this should help our jingoism progress. Let's get the most popular reform, which is currently suffrage reform. So we'll go up to wealth voting. We just finished our battleship doctrine. I think our next one unlocks in 1855. So we'll get that as our next research, but for now we'll go over and get inorganic chemistry and everything we need to build our canals. Alright, our jingoism seems to be stalling again, and I think we've taken out most of the troops on the front. So I'm going to demobilize and see if we can get some more jingoism up. We still have quite a few troops, because I think most of the troops that survived a lot of the battles were the professional troops. Alright, that really helped our jingoism. We're getting 0.003 per turn, I think, pretty consistently. And we've got an alliance from Montenegro. Again, the alliances don't really matter, but it's nice to have those alliances with fun nations like Iceland and Montenegro. We have Jacobin rebels in Luxembourg. I guess we'll send an army back to deal with them. We now have enough jingoism to add a second war goal, so we're going to get our provinces on France first. So we'll go with these two here, Champagne and Bourgogne. We'll go with the southern one first. Acquire state. 29 war score. Sometimes the United Kingdom does add on colonies they wish to take, but they're still technically sieged out by France, so I think they're going to have some difficulty adding war goals in this war. I did notice that Sweden added on a war goal on Russia to acquire southern Finland, and I think that should be okay as long as it doesn't go over 100 at the end. We now have full 100 war score on France and on Russia, except their armies are making a slight comeback. Russia has such a large population that they are probably still mobilizing. We now have Croatian nationalists rising up. There are a few rebellions, I'm not sure why. We are winning the war and we're not mobilized. Maybe we need to turn down some of the taxes, since our economy is doing so well. We've just researched inorganic chemistry. I think we can now get Raider Group Doctrine, which allows us to build up our naval bases one extra level. So let's start building up our naval bases from the second doctrine we got, because we have one naval base per province in most areas. And I think all of our ones that didn't have a naval base in it have already expanded to have a naval base. Most of these areas down here were upgraded by Austria. So down here, yes, I believe they had a higher doctrine level than we did at the beginning, which is very helpful for shipbuilding after we conquered Austria. We are now number 1 in every category except industry. But I think the UK is going to stay number 1 in industry for a little bit longer, until we are able to take parts of the United Kingdom itself. And the Ruthenian nationalists have risen. By the way, France is under Belgium at this point, and just barely above Sweden, while Russia is at 21. They're not going to be on great power for a very long time, if ever again. But I'm not sure why we're getting so many rebellions at this point. All the troops have been returned, but I guess let's take a look at our flashpoint tension. We do have quite a bit of flashpoint tension in the areas that we're getting rebellions. So I think we might have to start losing prestige instead of gaining the flashpoint tension. Okay, so we have gotten our tension event right after they revolted. So, I don't know, maybe we should, we're gonna have to lose the prestige. We're still number 1 in great power on prestige, so the Trieste nationalists have risen. There's not many of them though, so I think we should be okay. It's not like any territory on our homeland has been sieged out or anything. Is it just because our war exhaustion is a little bit high? Let's check. Military war exhaustion. It's only at 4. And we're still getting loads of jingoism despite the rebellions. So I think the situation is mostly under control. Alright, Britain added on acquire French Guiana. But I don't think our provinces are going to put us so close to 100 that that's going to be an issue. And we have just discovered the commerce radar. We did that research last episode. So we can finally begin our naval build-up. We're also gaining cores on most of the provinces inside of the former Austrian Empire. We've already gotten cores on much of the Sudetenland. And we actually got core on, I believe the province Vienna is in, which must be a fairly populous province. This is all raising our military cap. Oh, it just went up 1 brigade then. So Ethiopia has just been attacked by Spain. We want to attack Ethiopia later, but we also want to get all of Ethiopia, and we don't want Spain to have any colonies in the east, because this is where our major colonization efforts are going to take place. So if we work on sphering Ethiopia very quickly, we might be able to intervene on their side in the war, and then get to take this Spanish island here in Spanish South Cameroon, Fernando Po, which is a great naval base for colonizing this coast down south of Sokoto, without actually having to go to war with Sokoto itself. We now have the ability to add our final war goal onto France, which is going to be Champagne province, which we are going to acquire. 29 war score. Let's check before we add that on. We are at 68, so 29 is going to be just under our limit. So let's put on the province. And it may be prudent actually to keep France sieged for a while, because if we do intervene on the side of Ethiopia, this would be a good border to invade Spain from. But as soon as we're finished our invasion, we could just peace out. When we're finished with Ethiopia, we can just remove them from our sphere. I think the only downside to removing nations from spheres is infamy. Infamy is just a number. I think I discovered a new exploit. This exploit might actually have been out there, and I just have not seen it. But I think if you add a war goal on 2 nations you're at war with at the same time before your jingoism goes down, you can just add 2 war goals at the same time. So let's see, since we are going to liberate Poland, Lithuania in Kiev, we're going to need to invade them actually. So we're going to have to get a border with them. So we'll get a border by taking this province Budjak, which seems to be in present-day Moldova. So we will add a war goal to acquire state Budjak. That seemed to work. Let's see if both war goals stay on. Yep, all of the war goals stayed on. Not sure why Sweden decided to demand southern Finland. I guess they thought they were going to add on northern Finland, but that's really going to be some border gore. Once we get our relations up with Ethiopia, we should be able to intervene on the side of their war. Oh, and we've discovered one of our things we need for canals. It shows you what you need for the canal here. If you're to build the Suez Canal, we just discovered nitroglycerin. We also need machine tools and iron steamers, which we will be able to get fairly shortly. At the moment, we are at 97 on France. So I'm just hoping the United Kingdom is not going to add a war goal that puts us over. Just going to wait for a minute and see if we can get to war with Spain. We've now got them on friendly opinion. Oh yes, we can intervene in the war. Perfect. Looks like Brazil is hopping on this massive France conquest and taking out French Ghana. Oh, it's already been sieged by Britain. They should be able to piece them out. No problem then. Intervene in the war. Yes, I would like to intervene on Ethiopia's side. And Ethiopia doesn't even need to be in our sphere, actually. We can still just go and justify them and establish a protectorate there. So let's start invading north of Spain. Bring as much of our army over here as we can. And hopefully our ships don't get sunk by the Spanish Armada. All we ask is to be left alone. Oh, we might not be able to add war goals with the status quo. Okay, well that's not too much of an issue. Wait, did I see that Spain is on number 4 great power? Oh my. We have really messed up the world at this point. So we'll see what we can do. I don't think we can add any war goal on Spain. We are going to have to go back to war with them to get Fernando Po at some point. But maybe by that time we'll have a province in France connecting down to the Spanish border. I'm just going to wait until our jingoism gets up so we can annex Krakow and maybe take another province from Russia. Then we'll peace out and pursue other ventures. Anyway, we just got our doctrine finished. I think we should... Ooh, naval plans. I think we should go back to industry. I think it's interchangeable parts that gives us machine tools. Yes, it is. And we need machine tools for our canal. And especially if we're colonizing in Eastern Africa. Oh, look, Spain landed. Especially if we're colonizing in Eastern Africa, we're going to need the Suez to get down to our colonies to access them. Alright, we can propose the status quo to Spain. If we knock Spain down, Belgium's going to be number 4 great power. Oh my goodness. Alright, we better not break the world that much. Let's just propose peace to Spain because there's going to be no way we can add a war goal. And the quicker we get our truce now, the quicker we're going to get back in and get Fernando Po. So let us propose peace to Spain. All we ask is to be left alone. Jingoism-wise, we just passed 6%. It shouldn't be too long until we get our final war goal. On to Krakow. If we leave France sieged long enough when we liberate them after the peace deal, they should get so many rebels they'll succumb to a revolution, and then we'll be able to get a... Oh look, Krakow just invented anarcho-liberals. If a nation succumbs to a rebellion, you break all of your truces and treaties with them. So that means we should be able to go directly back into France and take more provinces if they succumb to a rebellion. Now, we can keep Ethiopia at this point to make sure other nations don't get influenced there, because we don't want to actually add them to our sphere. We can do the same for Egypt as well, actually. So we'll put Ethiopia down on 1 tick. And we can take Sinai for ourselves. It's just helpful to make sure other nations don't sphere them and intervene in wars with them, like we did with Ethiopia. And we got discredited. We really should be able to control the French embassy because we are in Paris, but I mean, it is what it is. We'll just stop influencing for now and wait for the discredit to wear off. It looks like the AI is going to full siege Russia. I think we'll actually be able to piece them out before they get to the east, but it's amazing to see what's going on. As you can see, the French are already getting small stacks of rebellions, so leaving them in this state will sink our truces with Russia in case they still remain allied after the war and France doesn't succumb to a rebellion. But in any case, they probably should. We are down 50 troops from our cap, so I'm going to start building up our new army of 415 divisions. As soon as they invented anarcho-liberals, Krakow got a stack of 6 that just spawned in the nation. Oh my goodness. We just got 30% jingoism. Okay. This is amazing. We might be able to take a lot of Russia then, although we might have to reject some of Sweden's claims. So, we got 30% jingoism. I've never seen that event before. I've seen it give like 20% jingoism, but 30%, that's unheard of. So, first thing, add war goal. Conquest on Krakow. This is a huge amount of infamy, but we're already very far over our cap. Now, as to maximize our 30%, we're also going to do that exploit where we add a war goal on the same time as Russia. So to check how much we have, make sure you're only seeing the ones that have the Russian flag in them. We're at 59. If we take out southern Finland, we're only at 31. So, I'm going to add a war goal on some of this southern coast here. The capital is in Ingria, so that's the only province we can't take. So we'll start by taking Cherson. Cherson only costs 14. So it's good that we're getting these fairly large provinces that cost so little war score on our massive jingoism boost. I didn't know this, they took a province from Persia. It sometimes is a problem if they take a coastal province from Persia, because then that means they'll be able to colonize the Horn of Africa, which is going to be within our domain. And there has been a crisis. Let's take a look at the crisis. Since most of the great powers are at war, I think it's just going to be Spain and Greece versus the Ottomans. And they accepted. Okay. I don't know if we're going to be able to get in another war quick enough to make full use of this jingoism. So I think we're going to try and use as much of it as we can on Russia. I think we actually might need a lot of jingoism for Egypt, so we'll start justifying on them to demand a concession as soon as we're finished our war with Russia. But I want to max out the peace deal since we have so much jingoism right now. What we can start doing actually is having our separate pieces go through. So we're going to start proposing peace to Krakow and France, so that we don't have to look at that bogged down peace deal with all the other terms in it. Alright, the next state we're going to go for is Luhansk. Again, that's only 20 war score to take. If we can get Kursk as well, that's a massive province. So we'll see if we can get that. Anyway, let's go and peace out with Krakow. Peace out with France. We are at 97. I'd like to add some more onto France, but it's just not going to be possible. French rebels better move back to France. Now for Russia, let's take a look. We're still only at 94. So if we took off southern Finland, be at 67. I would like to try and get Kursk, because that is one of the larger provinces. Let's see if we can get that. Kursk only costs 11. And since we're only at 78, we may as well go for a expensive province now. Tartaria is quite a large province. Moscow is a good province. I think that's a nice industrial province. Although Crimea might be a little expensive as well. Let's take the most expensive province that we can that connects to our land. Alright, I think we're going to go with 2 provinces then. We'll go with Rostov and one of these ones up north. Russia has officially dropped off of great power. Let's see what France is on. France is only on number 5 great power. Alright, we're through our jingoism. Let's propose peace to the Russian Empire. Sadly, we are going to have to take off southern Finland. But this is going to be a massively amazing peace deal. Let's get all of our troops back to our territory as well. Yet again, we've been discredited in Egypt, who we will begin a justification on to demand concession from. Although, as soon as we finish this war, I think the UK is going to unally us. And since they're a great power along with Sweden, they're both going to start justifying to contain the German Empire. So we're going to have to see what happens there. But we do not border the channel, so it should be pretty easy to defend Germany if we have a lot of our army and navy down in Egypt. We already got caught for 5 infamy. That's fine. Let's propose peace to Russia as soon as our troops are back, because I believe the UK is going to be able to start justifying on us as soon as we unally. Actually, if we justify quick enough, we might be able to call the UK into a war against Egypt. Although it's possible the UK might demand some land. For our next research, let's go with the iron breech loaded artillery to upgrade our artillery, which is currently sort of the heart of our army. And although it will require more supply, we'll, I guess, reluctantly start upgrading the railroad soon. I'm not sure what happened in China. The Chinese Empire seems to have broken ties with all of its puppets and is currently annexing them. There'll be a scary empire in the east if they are not controlled, and especially if they westernize. So we're going to have to watch that, and hopefully we can avoid direct conflict with them. I don't think their army's too big though, because we still have #1 army. Although I would believe that they have #2. No, they actually have #4. Guangxi has #2. It's possible Guangxi might beat the Chinese Empire if they go in to restore order. But all the land is the core of the Chinese Empire, so we're going to have to see what happens. Anyways, we are just going to wait a little bit for our war justification to finish on Egypt. And since there aren't any troops from Russia anymore, we're just going to take all of our troops back, set up a fleet of transports, and transport our troops down to northern coast of Egypt. Oh, the French reactionaries are rising. If they take Paris, I think they're going to enforce demands. And the French currently have no troops. Oh, there's more rebels. Okay, I think we might be able to go directly back into France. So, it might be a good idea to mobilize if it doesn't too negatively affect our jingoism rates. So for right now, I'm going to begin mobilization. I wish you could set different rally points for mobilized versus professional troops, and we can't justify in France yet because I think they have to flip. Who is sieging out Paris? It's two different types of rebels. Anarcho-liberals and reactionaries, so I think they're going to flip to one of the two. Hard to tell which though. It's kind of like musical chairs in the French government. Anyways, our justification just finished on Egypt. If we declare war and call allies, they will not accept. Alright, we have arrived at the Sinai Peninsula. So what I'm going to do is peace out with... Oh no. Troops are spilling over into our French land. Hopefully that does not become an issue because I want to keep the French rebels as high in numbers as possible. But what I'm going to do right now is send up a few troops over to the coast in case the British decide to land if they declare war on us. What I'm going to do right now is peace out Russia with all of our states added. Okay, we have Poland and Lithuania here, and this is looks like a little bit of a janky salient going out, but trust me, in the end this will look grand. But I'm just looking at France right now, and it...
Il y a des bourgeois bien nourris, il y a des bourgeois bien nourris. Il y a des bourgeois bien nourris, il y a des bourgeois bien nourris. Il y a le miséreux qui...
Oh my gosh. Alright, let's try once more. Call them in against Egypt. This is someplace they should have some interest in, but it doesn't seem like they want to join a war. Probably because our infamy is too high. But I think we dragged that war against Russia and France out long enough. Let's just go in on Egypt now and see if Britain does declare war on us. So we'll go in for the Sinai immediately, because we want to make sure we can build the canal. We'll land in the Suez. Guess we have to land all of our troops so we can park our fleet as soon as possible. I don't know if our jingoism is very good. I think your war exhaustion should go down marginally faster if you're at war with an uncivilized nation, but I'm not sure. Let's check. Our war exhaustion is down at 3. Okay, that's good. We should be able to gain jingoism decently quickly, but I don't think we're going to be able to demobilize this time. If we only get the Suez, that's fine, although I would like to get one of these provinces from Egyptian Sudan, because they do make for good provinces of colonizing the interior of Africa. And France has flipped. So this may be the perfect time to justify on France. Although it would be a lot nicer if we could justify on the United Kingdom. Oh, I don't think they can justify on us either if our relations are high enough. So let's try and keep relations high for now. And let's also justify a war on France. Justify to acquire state. Let's check our jingoism first, see if there's any chance we can get anything else from Egypt. The jingoism is a little bit janky, so let's start justifying on France. It's going to take a little bit of time. Let's acquire state. The same thing might happen in Russia, actually. I don't think they have any troops either, and they're getting a lot of rebels. This is an optimal situation. It's important that we're constantly increasing our relations with the United Kingdom, because I don't think they can justify on us if our relations are high enough. No, they do have a valid casus belli. Oh no, it's us who has the valid casus belli. Well, let's keep increasing our relations. And we just invented jigs. We can pass a reform, which should help our jingoism out. Suffrage movement. Alright. I think the less people that are angry, the more likely they are to embrace jingoism. Our jingoism is actually going up extremely quickly now that we passed that reform. We might be able to add a few more provinces onto our war against Egypt, especially since they now have Egyptian reactionaries. Let's see if we can preserve those as long as possible. I don't think France is going to be in any state to fight. Oh, we just got machine tools. Alright, that means, or that should mean, once we get our iron steamers, we will be able to build the Suez Canal. And iron steamers we will get in 1860, which is going to be our next research. The Netherlands are also on great power, and they sometimes get a bit uppity, so let's keep increasing our relations with them as well. Although we are down on 3 diplomatic points. We just got our research, but let's stock up our technology points and wait until 1860 to research iron steamers. And I think the French are exporting their rebels down to Egypt or something, because there is an insane stack of rebels going around. And look at the amount of France that just got sieged out by rebels. Egypt would accept Sinai, and we just got a casus belli reduction. Well, that's unfortunate. We're about to get enough jingoism, actually. Oh, we only just got discovered on France. We're about to get enough jingoism to demand something from Egypt. So I think we should demand Dongola. I don't think this is actually the battle going on between France and the rebels. I think this is a battle between different rebellion factions in France. Like, I think the anarcho-liberals are fighting the Republicans or something. What ideology is France? They're Bonapartist. This is very interesting. But anyway, we have like 400,000 troops on the French border. Like I said, I think the Netherlands might get a bit uppity. I don't think Belgium will, though. So let's keep some troops on the Dutch border, lest they declare war on us. And it is now 1860, so let's go get iron steamers and hope that that technology unlocks very soon. We're almost at 1,000 colonial power, so let's keep building up our navy, get some more commerce raiders and steam transports. We have a lot of ports now, and I think we can actually upgrade even more. Yes, we can upgrade to level 3. At this rate, I think we should be able to outpace the British in colonial power. Okay, we just got our war goal on France. Our relations with the UK are still up. And they're pretty high with the Netherlands. So we should be good on surprise attacks from great powers. We've got a truce with most everyone. Why do we still have a... Okay. It still says we have a truce with France, but it's a little bit bugged from the rebels. So we have our acquire state war goal on France. They're down to number 6 great power. Oh my goodness. And the great powers have been flipping about so much, no one has anyone in their sphere. I think we are ready to declare war on France. I don't know if they have any actual troops that haven't been killed by the rebels already. If we could get down to the Spanish border, that would be appreciated. I'm trying to think about how to get there without causing any border gore. It might also be good to have Picardy, because the British love to funnel troops across the English Channel into that province whenever they declare war on us. And it's really easy to kill them at Dunkirk over and over again. And it might actually give us enough war score to be able to take one of their mainland provinces, especially if we build up our navy enough. And we just gained so much navy cap. I'm going to keep building some more steam transports and commerce raiders. Oh, that's a little too much, but we're upgrading our ports anyway. I think we should be okay. So I'm going to declare war for Picardy, but it might be prudent that we work down towards Rhone, Provence, and the Spanish border. So let's acquire for Picardy. I think this might actually mess with our jingoism rates. So let's see how close we are in Egypt. We're extremely close. Let's add our war goal to demand a concession of Dongola, costing only 23 war score. Should be good. And we are now free to declare war to acquire Picardy. 44 war score, that is a little bit expensive, but it is probably one of their most valued provinces. It's one of the larger provinces in France, and I think it's one of the more industrialized, so it's not too overpriced at all. There's no French army here, it's just rebels. So let's just... Okay, I think the rebels are actually going into our border, so our attack on them should be justified. Oh my gosh, France's flag is so convoluted I can't even tell what country it is. I think it's like their old monarchist flag. We are getting... There's a massive attack. There's a massive rebellion going on against our troops. Oh my goodness. What is our jingoism at? Currently going up extremely quickly. Let's keep sieging out Egypt. If we keep doing this so that France gets rebellions in mass every time we leave, we should be able to go back into France every 2 or 3 years. Until I guess eventually they're off the continent. The French army can't even attack because they're so busy taking back their own territory from the rebels. And the British have now positioned troops in the Netherlands. I guess they have military access there. I don't like that you can't tell who has military access to a specific country, or what a specific country has military access to, because I would like to know, like, say if France had access to Belgium, which I think they do a lot of the time. If you attack them as Prussia in the early game, it can often mess up much of your war. Who is the enemy war leader? Oh my gosh, is it Egypt? No, it's the Papal States. Oh my gosh. The Papal States is the war leader. They're not even a major. Okay, we're going to have to go down and take care of the Papal States. Because it seems like it's going to be pretty easy to take out France. I don't think we need any territory right now from the Papal States. So we'll just keep focusing on Egypt. They will accept currently. Although it would be nice if we could connect. Oh, and Russian reactionaries just... Alright, I think Russia is next up. I don't know if we actually want to attack Russia right now, because I don't think we have the military capacity for that at the moment. But honestly, I don't think Russia does either. They're the 19th largest military. Wow. They're under Belgium at this point. They're just barely over Hyderabad. Okay, what we need to do now is decrease relations with Poland and Lithuania, because we want to make sure we're at war with Poland and Lithuania while we're at war with Russia. Because for this next exploit to work, we need to completely siege down both Russia and Poland and Lithuania, which is usually difficult, but now that Poland and Lithuania only has 12 troops and Russia has been wiped out basically, this shouldn't be very difficult at all. I can't tell where we've sieged in France because I think we're the same color as the rebels. Oh no, actually we're slightly lighter. I think I can tell where we siege now. Oh, and there's been a new stack of rebels that just spawned on us. Hopefully we can hold. I don't know if rebels sieging out our territory will re-siege it for France or de-siege it for them. And socialism has just been created in a small Italian state. Amazing. Oh my. Okay, that actually really helps us because sometimes France is able to colonize bits of East Africa with Madagascar and the surrounding territories. Oh my gosh. This is too good. Alright. Let's continue. This makes our job a bit easier in France, though. All we have to do is siege out the Papal States, and they'll give us whatever we want from France. And now we're getting rebels. 51 stack! Let's keep decreasing relations with Poland and Lithuania. Russia and Sweden are at war. Looks like Sweden is winning, of course. And the Finnish nationalists have risen up. Oh my goodness. I think we have ruined both Russia and France completely and totally. And as soon as they get released, we can get a casus belli on them. Well, we're going to have to take that because the jingoists are going to gain militancy, and that is the last thing we ever want. Getting peace offers from Egypt. We're so close to having that final jingoism bit. I'm reluctant to peace out for the time being because we can use our exploit where we add on both France and Egypt, and we should keep decreasing relations with Poland and Lithuania. I don't think we actually need anything more from Egypt because they don't border that many provinces in Eastern Africa to colonize. So taking Dongola will lock down these two, and anything else we need we can get from other African nations. So let's just peace out Egypt for now. Yeah, our jingoism's wavering a bit, but I think that's because we're in multiple wars. So I'm going to peace out Egypt and start justifying on Ethiopia to establish our protectorate there. Should only take 127 days. I'm hoping we can get enough jingoism to add another province in France by then, because I think declaring war with that war goal will take down our jingoism a little bit. So let's peace out Egypt. And now that we've peaced out, we have a border with Ethiopia. And as soon as we get iron steamers, we're going to be able to build the Suez. Alright, now we're having mass rebellions. Let's put some troops on rebel hunting. But thank goodness our rebellions aren't as bad as the French ones. Oh my goodness me. Most of our rebels actually did rise up in France. So it's a good thing we had our army there. Let's do our final decrease of relations on Poland and Lithuania. And Russia has dropped down to number 15. They're barely even a secondary power at this point. We just researched iron steamers, but I don't know if we have the actual technology yet. I think we do. And we can build both the Suez and the Kiel canals. Perfect. Alright, let's build them and then start our research. The Kiel. Amazing. And the Suez. There we go. That's the true world canal that we needed. We got our world shipping lane. And we can move straight through it. If we need to move our troops off Ethiopia into another African conquest, that will be available now. So for our next technology, let's take a look at what we have. Let's go for strategic mobility on our army doctrine. There aren't a whole lot of new technologies that are going to unlock soon, so we may as well just keep going on our army doctrine for now. These French rebels are really hardy. They're quite difficult to break even with our professional troops. We just gained our casus belli on Ethiopia, which will allow annexation. See, there's a balance you have to strike with Ethiopia since they start with 2 fully controlled provinces and 2 half-controlled. So if they go after Egypt and get more provinces, you won't be able to use that annexation one. You'll have to slowly take their colonies away like you would Egypt. But if the Spanish take that away, you want to support them because the Spanish will be a rival then in East Africa for colonization. So let's now declare war on Ethiopia to establish a protectorate. But first, let me check our jingoism, because I believe it does. Okay, our jingoism is a little bit wavery at the moment. It's wavering up and down. So let's establish protectorate on Ethiopia. I think there are only rebels here. I don't think the French army is actually around in France. So if we need to, we can demobilize once we've gotten all the rebels under control, which might help us with our jingoism. But for now, I'm going to remove Poland and Lithuania from the sphere, and then begin a justification on them for a conquest casus belli. This will take 305 days, and let's move in on Ethiopia. Okay, I'm going to try demobilizing. I'm not sure how many troops are going to leave. We still have a decent amount here in France. We should be fine. And we have just enough in the Papal States. So let's send down another stack there. And then send a stack over to Poland and Lithuania. We need to keep increasing relations with the United Kingdom though, because our relations are going down quite a bit. We want to keep them at bay until we're finished with our shenanigans. I'm not sure why this happened, but we just gained humiliate casus belli on Korea. Did not get an event or anything. Let's see how Japan's doing, by the way. They are actually allied with Korea, so let's not do anything with that. We just got our casus belli on Poland and Lithuania. We're almost at 150 infamy, by the way. That's just an astounding number. I don't see many Russian troops either. What is their army at? Oh, they're built back up to number 10. We need to get our jingoism on France now. Okay, that's not going to happen. So let's mobilize again. We're also on the Conservative Party. I think if we change back to... Oh my goodness. What is this? National Liberal. They have war policy as jingoism as well. Very interesting. I think we're just going to change back to National Party for right now. And we'll take our reform. That might actually help us with some jingoism. So suffrage movement is at 1.28 million. Let's just get that onto universal. Okay, our jingoism is actually going up extremely quickly. Let's stop our mobilization for now. We might be able to get something on France. Papal states are at 91. They're a nice punching bag because they're not as big as France is. We can fully siege them out pretty easily. So let's see what we need. Maybe we should go for... We'll go for the early railroad. Brace yourself for the railroad upgrading sounds. I think everywhere we go, we export rebels with us because now there's rebels in Ethiopia. Oh, and of course, the United Kingdom decided to declare war on us. Okay, we might have to mobilize now. Unclear whether that's going to be necessary, but it is also unclear where they're going to land. What do they want? They want to contain. Okay. We're prohibited for raising armies. No, that's not going to be a possibility. If they just land in a few places, we should be able to beat them back. Not sure where they're going to land, though. That's the thing. We just can't have anyone else declaring war on us right now as well. So let's make sure we increase relations with the Netherlands, because we almost have our casus belli on Poland and Lithuania. Maybe we should have gone to war with the United Kingdom sooner. But let's get our troops out to the coast. I think they're going to try and land in Picardy. Can they use the Suez while we're at war? They can. If we beat Belgium enough, I think we might be able to peace out the UK. But again, if we can get a piece of land on the UK, we're never going to have problems with them again. Alright, as soon as our ports expand, we'll start building monitors. We just gained our casus belli on Poland, Lithuania. I think we're going to wait a minute until we justify on... Oh my gosh. Alright, if we can't get our jingoism very quickly on France, I'm going to peace out before those rebels start attacking our troops again. I don't think we should go after Russia right now. I think actually it would be prudent for us to justify on Oman as a quick in-between war. And hopefully we can get our jingoism up before we have to declare. The British are actually scared to land in France, like with the amount of rebels. And I mean, I don't blame them. I think we should get out of France ourselves. If we could get a jingoism event during this election, that would just be amazing. And we just gained our casus belli on Oman. Someone was justifying Spain against France. Amazing, amazing. Alright, so let's go to war with Oman when we're finished in Ethiopia. Which I think... Oh, which province have we not taken? Alright, there we are. We're almost finished with Ethiopia. And I still don't think we're quite ready to declare war on Russia. Although before the 22nd of April, we've got to declare war on Poland, Lithuania. I think our jingoism is wavering too much. I think we should peace out the Papal States at this point. We just took Picardy from France. That should be fine. As long as they're still having widespread rebellions, we should be able to keep going in whenever we would like. Let's take our troops out of France. Although try not to fight the rebels on the way out. These are the largest rebel stacks I've seen in 1860s for a very long time. And we just got a railroad. Let's go up to Iron Railroad as well. And we can upgrade the port. Azerbaijan has just been... Oh my goodness. Azerbaijan has just been released from the Russian Empire. Okay, we actually have to make sure Poland doesn't get released. That would be unfortunate. We're ready to annex Ethiopia as well. The German East African colony is growing. I think we actually need to start justifying on the Russian Empire so we can save them from releasing Poland. Although if we can get enough jingoism up to get a province in the United Kingdom, that would just be simply amazing. So let's see if we can do that. And we'll also justify to liberate country. And now Switzerland's trying to take over France as well. I think everybody is trying to take over France because they're so weak. What did Switzerland do? Acquire state? Oh, that's going to be unfortunate. I think they're cutting off the states we wanted. If I'd have known Switzerland was going to abandon neutrality, I think we would have gone for that state instead. Spain was also justifying. Yep, everyone's taking bits of France. And we just got a jingoism event. Okay. Amazing. So, if we get enough war score, we will be able to take a province from the United Kingdom. We do have some ships over here. Are these transport ships? Because if they are, oh, some of them are. Alright, so we're going to get all of our transport ships and try and get into the United Kingdom. I think we can also mobilize now because we have plenty of jingoism. So I'm going to add Southwest England as one of our war goals. It is 33 war score, and I believe it is this province right here, Southwest England. So we'll add it on, and it connects fairly closely to Picardy, which is our new French state. And we sadly can't take Southeast England because London, their capital, is inside that. So let's see if we can finish up Belgium, and then we'll start going over to the United Kingdom. Who else are we at war with? We're at war with Belgium. We could add a war goal on them if we have enough jingoism to take over Wallonie. But we'll have to see how that goes. We do have enough jingoism. I don't think we need another province from the UK. I think one is going to be just fine. So we will take Belgian Wallonie as well. Oh, and we've just researched the ironclad. And as I said, the British have landed in Dunkirk. Okay, I don't think we're actually going to have to get to the British Isles. They're sending so many troops over. Oh, and France just changed government again. They're now anarcho-liberal. Russia has just released Crimea. Okay, interesting. I think they were able to put down the Polish rebels. Oh, thank goodness for that. Alright, I think it is time to declare war on Poland and Lithuania. So let's declare war for conquest. We can just leave them be and just keep rejecting their peace offers until we're ready for Russia. But I think we might just be able to take our province from the UK. Just, oh my gosh, they've flooded so many troops in. We got our casus belli on Russia, and we're sieging out Poland and Lithuania as we speak. Our next conquest is going to be down in Oman. So as soon as we de-siege this province here... Oh, the French are back on the French flag. Yeah, we're never going to have a truce with France. Oh, they're off GP. 2 Sicilies. Oh my goodness. Well, 2 Sicilies can sometimes be a bit annoying because they get military access to the Papal States. Anyways, let's get back on the boats and go over to Oman. UK wants to peace out. They will give us Southwest England. So that is good to know. All we need to do now is full siege Belgium, and we should get everything that we need. And France just changed again. I swear it's every month France is changing now. We've arrived in Oman. Let's declare war. And take Omani Lindi, because usually no one declares war in Oman. But if they do, it's the Portuguese to take Omani Lindi. And I don't think they're going to take anything cut off from that. So let's make sure we get that before the Portuguese have the chance to. It's only worth 5, so we just have to siege out their capital, and they should give it up. The Ottomans are asking for military access to us. They're also at war with the UK, which should mean they aren't going to declare war on us anytime soon. I don't want to give them military access because they might be able to sort of like do the Vic2 type of Order 66, where they just spawn in our territory. The UK is trying to peace out, but we'll peace them out once we get our Belgium territory. And we finally won a naval battle somewhere. Are we ready to peace out Oman? Yes, we are. Anyway, while we can check. Okay, our jingoism is very low, but we've been doing a lot of one-off war goals, so we should be fine with a low jingoism for now. Let's peace out Oman, but only after I get my ships in, so we can get out of there quickly. And accepted. Alright, let's get our troops on the ship and get back up here in case the British have any ideas, because we are this close to being able to peace out Belgium. And we can pass a reform. Fantastic. Minimum wage movement. Okay, we don't have minimum wage at the moment. Common school movement we don't have either, so we'll go with the voter rights. Things are going well in Poland, Lithuania as well. Not currently justifying on anyone, so I think we should probably find a new target. Maybe we go after the Ottomans. I'm not sure if we're quite ready for that though. We'll have to see what kind of a state the Russian military is in before we can start justifying any new war goals. We gotta organize our own military first though. We just researched Iron Railroad. I think we should do market regulations. Not sure why the British keep sending small stacks to siege over this specific province, but I think we're done with the war now anyway, so we're ready to peace out. Let's peace out Belgium first. They will accept. And next time we go in on Belgium, we'll have to use the conquest war goal. Now the British are looking to peace us out for southwest England. That sounds good to me. And we are on the British Isles. Okay, I can't believe we did that. That is... that's absolutely amazing. We need to get some troops over there ASAP, so I'll just put a garrison of these 50 divisions to always remain on the British Isles. And the rest of these troops I'll send over to the Russian front. We have a massive front line with Russia right now, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get total war score on them. But I think it can be done. Russia's actually allied to Spain. Alright, well, this does complicate things, because it may mean that Spain becomes the war leader. Well, I guess we're going to have to find out. If Spain does become war leader, we don't need the troops on the Russian front. We need to... What is happening here? So, since we're not justifying any war goals at the moment, I think we're going to begin a justification on Sokoto. They are an uncivilized nation, although we cannot establish a protectorate directly. So let's demand a concession, and then we'll establish a protectorate once our truce is finished in 5 years, or if we can get them to rebel, that would be quite handy. Let's get our troops back to the Suez and load them onto the ships. Get them down around here, and maybe we can even siege out Fernando Po, if that is something we can take from Spain if they do become the war leader. So in the meantime, let's gather a transport squadron down here in the Austrian Adriatic territories and gather up a force to go to Spain if necessary. We do have a large army here. Let's take these two armies, set them down to Trieste. I think that's where we put our ships. We'll load as many as we can onto transport ships and see if we can get some war score against Spain, especially if they become the war leader, and if we can demand Fernando Po. Let's also get our 50 stack garrison over to the United Kingdom territories. It's going to take a few trips to go, but that should be fine. We have a truce with the UK, and I don't think there shall be any navy meddling until we get to war with Spain. I'm not even certain Spain will join the war. They might decide to break their alliance with Russia. Do we still have our truce with them? No, our truce just ended. Well, as I said, this might be the perfect opportunity to take Fernando Po. And our garrison is now set in the United Kingdom. Poland is trying to get us to annex them. This is going to be helpful later. Keep that in mind. Oh, we now have our social reforms available. Okay, so minimum wage movement and common school movement is at 81.3 radicality. So we're going to want to put down an acceptable school system as soon as possible. And I think we want to do the same thing for minimum wage, but we don't have that reform, and it might be a while until we get that one. I also noticed Two Sicilies is expanding their sphere, and I would like to stop Italy from forming as much as possible, because we can do these quick conquest casus bellis on the small one-state minors. So I'm going to try and sphere Sardinia Piedmont, because I don't think they can form without Sardinia Piedmont, especially since it's the Two Sicilies who's making the sphere. I do believe they can form without the Austrian territories though, so we might just have to start conquesting certain states in the north of Italy, because we do have our truce with the Papal States at the moment. And if it does become an issue, it'll clear up a bunch of these states which have been split between these nations. It should be a lot easier to take states in general if Italy does form. Alright, let's go in. Let's see if Spain joins. We will liberate Poland, Lithuania. You might know what I'm doing now. I think Russia's still the war leader. We just got our casus belli on Sokoto. That is perfect. Let's just keep getting our stack over into Spain. See if we can get enough war score to demand Fernando Po. And I'm not sure who we should justify on next. I really want to get Tripoli from the Ottoman Empire because it can see 4 colonization provinces. We can continue our influence in Sardinia, Piedmont. Since we had to form Prussia earlier, we have a lot of diplomatic influence benefits. So sphering anyone is really easy now. We could sphere Colombia and build the canal, but we could also just conquest the state of Panama. Who's Colombia allied with? They're allied with no one. And they have a truce with the US. Interesting. Let's try and sphere them, but if that doesn't work, we will attempt to annex Panama. Also, I realized we have a very large cap now, and we unlocked ironclads and monitors, so I'm going to start building a massive fleet of ironclads and monitors. Should be the largest fleet in Europe, and I think we should be able to rule the seas since we now do own a part of Britannia. Also, I think we should declare war on Sokoto. Only costs 16 war score, and we only need one of the provinces because then they'll be down to a 3-state unciv, and we should be able to use the established protectorate to fully annex them. Our influence in Colombia seems to be going fairly well. Our advance into Russia also seems to be going quite well. Although this time we do need full 100 war score to enact the term on the peace deal. We're currently only at 19, so it might take a while. They keep moving small stacks into these 2 provinces that we've sieged out, and it's getting us quite a bit of war score. We're already at 5 war score, and we just started. Although we are losing quite a few troops each battle. So we should watch because we have limited reinforcements. We can also increase opinion in Sardinia, Piedmont. We can actually add them to Spear. I think that's going to be prudent for the time being, because we don't want them attacking us, and we don't want them being part of Italy. But the rest of the Italian miners, we can just do a manual war to conquer, and I think that might actually be a good idea to do right now. If we can get a war goal off in a decent amount of time. 314 days, that's a little bit, it's a little bit long. 314 days. I think we'll do this in 10 years or so when we're finished colonizing, because right now the prioritization is on gaining our colonies. Alright, it looks like the French are back. They got an army of 51 stack on Paris. They might be someone who we actually have to deal with now. But we'll see. I think they are back on great power. Yeah, they're up back on number 4 again. They've risen slightly above Spain since we're currently at war with Spain. Anyone who we're at war with just dropped down the great power. We've just completed the market regulations research. Let's go for positivism. We're getting a peace offer from Sokoto for Nigeria. That sounds good. We now have a colony in Central Africa. Justify a war. Might seem like it's placed in the sun, but I believe it is a core state. It will take quite a few days, so we'll get our queue of justifications ready. Go back into Egypt once we're done in the Ottomans. And then back into Oman and Sokoto once we're finished there. Okay, I believe we have reached the point of ending for this war. So if we hit propose peace, it says they're going to accept the offer, even though we're not at 100 yet. Which means this peace deal must be the one that gives Poland, Lithuania back their land. So let's open this up. First of all, turn time down to 1 or 2 times speed. 1 time speed is actually extremely slow. We just want to be able to control 1 day passing. So we take our peace offer from the Russian Empire. Give Poland, Lithuania all states with core provinces. Perfect. Now Poland, Lithuania is massive. Now what Poland, Lithuania wants to do is get annexed. So let's proceed with that. Now we've annexed all of Eastern Europe. That I believe is called the Gurin's annexation trick, because I believe Gurin invented it. Not sure who they are. That's just what it's called. And it's an amazing thing you can do if you're trying to take out large portions of a nation. I believe this works for pretty low infamy as well. But obviously our infamy is almost at 200. But I think it's also very good for taking Canada as the US and other massive nations. Although I think the Poland-Lithuanian Commonwealth is my favorite one to do it with, because it's just such a massive part of Russia's economy and population base. So I think this is actually going to be a good time to end it here. Let's just unpause so our Heart of Darkness updates. There we go. We can now see our massive empire. We have grown quite a bit, even from Super Germany and Greater Germany encompassing Austria-Hungary and the German Empire. In the next episode, we will collect our final colonies in preparation for the race for Africa, try and take as much of Africa as we can, and hopefully win the race. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye.